Yeah, man, what's going on, y'all? Thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Wally, and you are now tuned into Playboy Hustlers TV.
Hey, this the king of melodies beat.
This is a new one I got on deck for y'all today, you hear me? This is going viral. This is a Breakfast Club interview with Vivek Ramaswamy, you hear me? You know he's running for the next presidential candidate, and right here he's going to be talking about leadership, civic duty, and affirmative action, yeah. So let's see how this is going to go, baby. Shit.
A radical idea. This is not a Democrat or Republican idea, that the people we elect to run the government ought to at least be the ones who actually run the government. That's not the case today. You want to talk about fixing the system. You want to talk about one of the myths where we fall short of our ideals. We're taught in school that we have three branches of government. They're irrelevant compared to who actually runs the government. It's a fourth branch of government of three-letter agencies in Washington, D.C.
Facts.
That is a formula for corruption. Corruption we get. That's a system we need to break down.
Who those three?
I mean, you could go down the
it
list.
is.
SEC, FDA, EPA, TSA. The thousands, the tens of thousands of government bureaucrats working in Washington, D.C., they're the
That's the alphabet letter. He knows exactly what you're talking about too, but you know he got to play that role.
ones who actually make the laws. It's not Congress. And that's a formula. And those people aren't elected. Nobody elected them. They're protected by these what are called civil service protections, which means even the president, technically, under many people's beliefs, can't fire them. That's the permanent state, what many in the right will call the deep state. I think that's a problem. I think that falls short of our ideals. I think the same FBI that threatened Martin Luther King with suicide on the back of incorrectly collected tapes is now committing, I would say, hypocrisy and corrupt actions against people of a different political persuasion that the FBI doesn't like today. I just think it's a formula for corruption when you have unelected bureaucrats that are actually setting policy.
And that is a fact. You know why? Because they're going to let their peoples in that door as well.
But that's a detail compared to my point, which
And the cycle will never end for that very same reason.
is we need to revive the ideals that the nation was actually founded on and do a better job of aspiring to them.
And we have Teslin Figueroa. I'm sure Teslin has some questions. Tez, you good?
Yes, I do. So I've heard a lot of, what you think and your vision, and I'm a very practical person, and I want to kind of, opposed
Sure.
to talking about your opponents, let's talk about you for a moment, and let's.
Oh man, she's coming a little too aggressive. I mean, I'm good on energy. I pick up on energy a lot, and I can already tell she is not here to ask questions for the betterment of understanding. She is here to ask questions only to purposely damage a person. And this is ridiculous. I don't even know. I haven't even seen this, and I can already tell the way it's going to go.
Let's actually talk about your policy. Explain to me.
Look at the attitude she got. Look at the face, man. This is crazy. It's like when you get home when you was young and your mother's ready to tear one in you.
Your position on this civic duty voting.
Sure. So my position is, I think that every kid who graduates from high school should know the minimums about the country that we require an immigrant to know about the country in order to become a citizen. So there's a test. My mom had to pass it. Every immigrant has to pass it to this country that asks you some basic questions. What are the three branches of government?
And guess what? You know how many people don't know the three branches of government? My daughter's 12 years old and she knows that. I made sure she knew that.
What branch of government does the U.S. president lead? Some basic questions about what is the Bill of Rights. It's like a multiple choice exam, or some of them you write in. I think that if we're going to ask immigrants to pass that test, as we should, I think every 18-year-old who graduates from high school should have to pass that as well.
You see that? I guarantee you right now, on your own, go outside. Don't just ask one generation. Ask every single generation, Gen Z, millennials, etc., right? Generation X, whatever, right? Ask them. Ask each and every one of them that same question. What are the three branches of government? Watch, you're going to get the dumb face. And it doesn't matter neither. I'm telling you, every age.
Because young people, it goes back to that issue of pride. You don't value a country that you don't know something about. You don't value something you inherit. You value something you have a stake in creating, in building, or knowing something about. So how do we think big about this? Well, young people, as I told you, most of them, very few of them vote. as it stands today. Super small numbers. And apparently 60% of them say they would rather give up their right to vote than give up TikTok. Well, I say, all right, let's take that to the next level.
That's sad right there, yo. That is sad.
How about we do something that raises the voting age from 18 to 25, but you still get to vote at 18 if you just pass that same civics test that an immigrant has to pass in order to vote. And tests aren't for everybody, so be it. Then you at least serve in the military or a first responder role for 6 months. That's my civic duty voting proposal. And the reason is, I'll actually make a prediction. I think youth voting in this country will skyrocket. From a very low level right now, it will skyrocket because you value something you actually have to earn. And I think that this is not a left-wing or right-wing point. We all have duties as citizens, right? You know, we aspire to free market capitalism, right? Materialist advance. And that's the life I've lived as well, by the way. My parents came to this country with not a lot of money. I've lived the American dream. I've made a lot of money by building businesses. That's one side of what it means to be an American. But part of it is we also have duties to this country.
But never forget, there is no such thing as the American dream because you have to be asleep to enjoy it. You dig?
And I think the more we wake that up, actually, the voting age only became 18 in 1971 in the context of the Vietnam draft. So I just think reviving those ideas is going to be good for us.
A lot. So let's prove your point. Nick, our camera guy, do you know the 3 branches of
He's giving them too much facts, yo. You hear that?
the
Nick
federal
is
government?
over 24, so it don't matter.
But I'm just saying, but nobody knows there are 24. Red, do you know the 3 branches?
Executive.
Well, I got a test. I got a
That's what I'm
test.
saying.
I would like to see if you're willing to pass. Because I believe in just as you
Hey, you hear this? She got a test. Wait, so she prepared this premeditated. This is crazy.
believe in civic engagement. I believe in changing the ideas of what political opponents look like, what they should look like, or political candidates. Are you willing to take a test with me quickly? Because I just have a couple of questions.
Are you willing to take a test? Who are you? Like, who made you the boss? Or what makes your test valid?
For you.
I will,
so
absolutely.
so just,
and the way this is opening up, I have a feeling I'm about to fail it, but that's good. Let's do it.
That's right, yeah.
See, he felt that bad energy that she's providing. You understand me? That's that. She want to be masculine energy.
So just for clarity, I am an independent. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican.
Cool.
I think that's important for the premise of the argument, because I know you did a lot of debating at Harvard. I also want to make it clear these are the same questions that I asked.
And not to stop it so soon, but who cares what party anyone is, you know, instead I'm saying rallying for? Listen, are the ideas being met? Is change for the good happening? Are things working out? Are we working together? Are we communicating? You understand me? You see how she had to put that out there? Like, you're blocking everything with that.
Liberal Democrat Marianne Williamson. So I want to make sure that we put that out there as well, just to kind of set the foundation.
I'm
for the
open
test.
to being humbled. Let's do this.
Okay, great. Let's go. So you mentioned, the pride of being an American and how important it is to have pride in this country. I'm also a veteran, by the way, for the United States Air Force. So when is it that you voted for the first time?
I voted in 2020.
Yo, you see how she asked him? She asked him as if she's in disbelief and he's wrong and she's right. I don't like the way this is going already, but go ahead, man.
Okay, so you're how old again?
I'm 37 years old.
So for how many years you sat around and did not get involved at all in any civic engagement?
What kind of question is that?
Is that my understanding?
A long time is the answer. And actually, that's what I wrote this book about. I'm not holding myself out as some sort of model. I'm actually offering myself as a self-reflection.
I mean, if you ask me, he's trying to change the whole situation, right? How everything is happening. She's going by the textbook. So because he doesn't fit the suit that's normally provided, you understand what I'm saying? From all this propaganda, he don't seem fit. Man, she's ridiculous.
Of my journey as a citizen, to whom this country has given much, right? As an adult, when you have kids, it changes your perspectives. I'm very honest about that. Absolutely.
Okay, no problem. So let's go deeper into the self-reflection. So you've sat around for, and sir, I'm being as respectful as I possibly can. Please.
But why are you trying to be disrespectful? Why are you telling some? I don't understand. I think in her head, what he's saying is coming out different. You know what I mean? She's not interpreting it as simple as he's playing it out. and she's fighting demons, if you ask me.
So for how many years you sat around and did not get involved at all in any civic engagement? Is that my understanding?
A long time is the answer. And actually, that's what I wrote this book about. I'm not holding myself out as some sort of model. I'm actually offering myself as a self-reflection of my journey as a citizen to whom this country has given much, right? As an adult, when you have kids, it changes your perspectives. I'm very honest about that. Absolutely.
Okay, no problem. So let's go deeper into the self-reflection. So you've sat around for, and sir, I'm being as respectful as I possibly can. Please don't take anything
and you don't even have to be. And you don't even have to be. So take it off and let's go.
So you've been sitting around in the country that my ancestors built for.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yo. Do y'all not see where this is going already? Like, I want to just get her off air already. Like, she doesn't deserve to have a voice. I am sorry. What do you mean your ancestors, lady? Like, cut this out with this division stuff, man. You know how many people played a part in this country being built? She gotta stop this. She really doesn't understand what it is. She's believing that school history is the true history, and everything how school indoctrinated everyone, that's the way it's supposed to be. She is lost.
About 20 years, your parents came over as immigrants, brought you over. You made millions, according to your resume, off of this country, and you have absolutely not been involved in civics.
She said, off of this country. He made, oh man, I don't like her energy, yo, her wording, her tactics. What is her problem?
Not voting. And two, let me just ask, because I know you mentioned earlier you don't want to sit around at the debate and talk about accomplishments. Let's make the accomplishments pretty simple. In high school, were you ever a class president or take any?
Oh my goodness. So the criteria is you have to be a president in the school? Like, are you serious? Listen, man, all this textbook stuff gotta go, for real, 'cause that has nothing to do with anything. I know plenty of people that became presidents in school, and they total shitheads today. You understand me?
Any leadership role? Because your opponent did, Chris Christie. He was the class president. So have you ever taken any leadership at all on anything, or just?
Can I just correct a couple factual things?
She probably liked that TV show Clueless, right? With homegirl Stacey Dash. I was gonna say Dame Dash cousin, but Stacey Dash. You could tell that was her favorite TV show. She's part of all of these imaginary clubs.
That are kind of important. My parents didn't bring me over to the country. I was born in this country, and I'm proud of it.
No, I know you were born here in Ohio.
Nah, but you know he was born here in Ohio, but yet he made money off this country as if he came here on a boat or something. Ignorance, I'm telling you. There's no excuse for ignorance, you hear me?
Yeah, you mentioned my parents.
I'm saying your parents were immigrants. My apologies.
That's all right. You said your parents brought you over to this country.
And now you see she shifted his energy now, but he's replicating hers. You understand me? Pay attention.
It did, Chris Christie. He was the class president. So have you ever taken any leadership at all?
And then the way how she mentioned, I'm sorry I'm stopping it so much, but the way she mentioned how, and then Chris Christie, he was the class president, your opponent that you're running up against. As if like he walked on water or something. What does that even mean? He was the class president in high school. Whoop-de-doo.
All on anything or just?
Can I just correct a couple factual things that are kind of important? My parents didn't bring me over to the country. I was born in this country, and I'm proud of that.
No, I know you were born here in Ohio.
Ohio. You mentioned my parents.
I'm saying your parents were immigrants. My apologies.
That's all right. You said your parents brought you over to this country. I thought I would set that record straight.
I mean, they were immigrants, but let's not go down the water hole.
No, we're not going to water hole. I just want to correct a couple facts. And then the other thing is,
you were born here in Ohio.
I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's right.
Right. So you've been here your entire life. So the question is, did you take any leadership role in middle school?
See, it's like she knows the answer, but then she's creating friction for no reason. I'm telling you, this is the type of woman who argues with herself and will never be happy with anything in life, yo. I'm telling you.
High school class president.
I did.
I know you played tennis. What is it? Explain it to us.
Student council. But I think that this is yes, I've held leadership roles over my life, but those don't qualify me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it kind of does.
No, it doesn't at all. Nowhere near it. Has nothing to do with it. I can care less. If I'm gonna pick a presidential candidate, I don't care who was a class president and who wasn't. That doesn't concern me. What you did then, as long as it's nothing criminal misbehavior, you understand what I'm saying? But what you did then doesn't impact what you could do today. You understand? As a kid in high school, let's be serious. You're not even aware half of the things politically. Like, man, listen, you could miss me with this. This lady's obnoxious, yo.
Okay, well, it kind of does. Well, I'm giving the test. I'm the test administrator.
All right, there you go.
So
I'm giving the test. I'm the test administrator. Look how dumb she look right here. I'm going to make this the thumbnail.
Your entire life. So the question is,
right.
Did you take any leadership role in middle school, high school, class president?
I did.
I know you played tennis. What is it? Explain it to us.
Student council. But, you know, I think that this is...
She's being
yes, I've held leadership roles over my life, but those don't qualify me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it kind of does. Okay, well, it kind of does. Well, I'm giving the test. I'm the test administrator.
All right, there you go.
So it kind of does, because when you go from saying I want to go to the highest office,
and I'll tell you, I've led companies as well. Is the other leader?
Right,
the main leadership role I've played is and I want to talk about one early part of your premise that I also want to say, bring it to the country point. The other point, you use the word sitting around. You know, I'm not somebody who's saying I want the next generation, my kids' generation, to have more civic duties when they graduate from high school and college than I did when I did. That being said, I wasn't sitting around. I've developed medicines, 5 of which are FDA-approved products today.
Hey, lady, what have you done for us lately besides chit-chat with that ugly mouth of yours?
One of which is a life-saving therapy in kids, 20 of whom die by the age of 3 if they're not treated, 70% of whom now live lives of a normal duration.
But yet he used us in our country. Yo, this lady is obnoxious, I'm telling you. She's delusional.
Another one for prostate cancer. So I don't apologize for making contributions. But
well, I don't want you to filibuster that
no worries.
Because that's not the question that I asked.
Wow, she's not concerned with that. She's in her own rabbit hole of destruction. That's it. Yo, with her fake hair too. And
I don't consider, as a veteran, I'm talking about service. I'm not talking about what you
Civic
did for
service.
profit.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about what you paid people to do with your company.
So
I'm not talking about
I've not served the country
because that
in the way
means
you
nothing
have.
to me.
You do
what I'm
realize
talking,
she hasn't been able to ask a question. She's been trying to ask a question, and you've been talking over her.
I'm all ears.
We gave you the platform to let you say.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What are you talking? She's asking him questions. She said it's a test. And she says, I have questions for you depending on how you answer them. And then DJ Envy's coming here talking about you're not letting her talk. You know, you keep answering her every time she talk. Yo, I'm confused. The Breakfast Club need to go.
I'm all ears. I'm all ears. No, I was just correcting a couple facts.
She hasn't had a chance to
that's
ask
all.
a question yet. Every time she tries to ask a question, you've been cutting her off. Go ahead,
I'm all ears.
Right. So your question. So my question again is: you're trying to your goal is to raise the standard, and you're saying you want people to believe in country, and you want people to have civic engagement. Yeah. And sir, I just find it very telling that you haven't had any civic engagement at all, and haven't been at all. And when I say sit around, I don't mean you haven't done anything. I'm talking about in regards to service. Because one thing about political office, the same way that you want to change how people look at politics and look at this country, I want to change how people look at politicians. And when I see that someone hasn't did anything at all to be of service to mankind.
But like, what is it that he has to do in your eyes for him to qualify to be a candidate? I'm confused.
Take a leadership role. It's not good enough to just be on city student council. Were you a leader? All of that applies. Have you been able to get anybody in the room at any?
I tell you, she look like a man.
At any time, from a high school gymnasium to Ohio, Republican leadership there to now, have you been able to get anybody in a room to believe in this vision? I don't agree with a lot of your vision statement, but I do know you've been going around having these discussions and getting everybody emotionally worked up to talk about vision and debate. But I want to get to the practical. You're trying to go from preschool to president of the United States. You're skipping over city council, county council, mayor.
What is she talking about? Because guess what? Donald Trump wasn't any of that. Yo, this lady's delusional.
Governor, you want to go straight to the top. So my question, is this a PR? Is this for the PR, the perception of reality?
Well, the perception I'm getting right now is that you're hiding your background, lady. What's going on over there?
Or can you point to any leadership where you've been able to get people to believe in what you're talking about that they're not paid to do on any of these vision statements that you have? If not, then to me, it's a moot point, because you're holding a standard that you haven't met yourself.
So if you're only going to count government service You're absolutely
no, not government
right.
service.
Okay.
Student council in the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th. Were you a leader? Did you do anything to rap?
Is she really serious with this? So she want to know in grade school if he was the class representative in the 5th grade, 6th grade. Like, I don't understand this. What can you possibly know at that age?
Rally anybody? Did you fight for better lunch? I did in the 6th grade with Miss Harris.
Better lunch. Yeah, you probably fought for more extra burgers and cheese.
I'm not talking about government. I can go all the way back from the 5th grade every year, sir, because people who are in service to this country, if you're going to go around saying you want people to believe in this country that I signed up to die for, then I want to make sure that you're...
You did not sign up to die for anything, lady. You went to the service strictly to monetize and freeload like everyone else does, all right? They sell you the dream. They say, look, if you be part of this, you get this free, you get this like this, that like that. And it sounds convincing. And then you like, we're not really going to go to war. I'll take this anyway. You understand me? So miss me with that. Don't send our children into destruction either with that talk, lady.
Holding that same standard. So not government, not political. Let's not get it confused. I'm saying, have you did anything of service?
And why is she so mad? She got me mad. This is crazy.
That we can point to say he is a good leader, like Chris. And I'm not even a fan of Chris Christie, but he was the student council president in high school. So have you done anything of service besides yourself that has not benefited yourself? It's just a simple question.
So the acts of service that I have performed are small, so small that I don't even want to talk about them to boast. But yes, have I volunteered for this country? Yes, I have. I've always been interested in healthcare.
It's okay to talk about the small things.
I mean, these are small things, right? But thank you.
Let's just mention
Bethesda North Hospital.
So it's really a no?
No, it's not a no. It's just something I don't like boasting about. I volunteer.
We're not boasting. It's an interview. You're boasting on your vision and everything else.
I think
you boasted on the millions of dollars that you made. So let's just throw it out.
See what I'm saying? Look at her. If she was a sheet of paper, I'll crumble her right now.
6th grade, I'll give you an example. I'll help you out. In 6th grade, Miss Harris, was let me give you an example because maybe you're confused. In the 6th grade, Miss Harris was snatching papers from everybody in the classroom. So me as a 10-year-old, I went to the principal and said, I'm tired of Miss Harris snatching papers.
You basically snitched. That's not leadership. Like, you told on someone.
And I'll organize the students around getting Miss Harris to stop snatching papers. Now, there was a consequence for that. I got suspended for 5 days for talking back. And
well, see? Ooh, don't let me find out you did that and you running for presidential candidate.
I got in trouble, I got a spanking, and I was on punishment for months and months. But that is a simple way of organizing people. So I want you to kind of boast about it the way you did the millions of dollars.
It sounds like she's good at starting friction, controversy, and instigate. That's what she's perfect at.
Said what you did with the pharmaceutical companies. What leadership can you point to that you've been able to rally anybody around anything that is of service that you did not pay anybody to do? I think that's important for the next president of the United States.
Sure. So I've always been drawn to healthcare. That's why I ended up founding companies in that space. When I was in high school, part of what drew me into it was that I was a volunteer at a local hospital.
And why they never gave this much pressure to your man, Joe Byron?
I actually became the leader of that group of volunteers that actually discharged women who had recently given birth. That was it. Nothing big to it.
Did you do anything we can point to stand out?
But I want to say something about that because I say that in the book. If I'm being really honest, why did I do that in high school? A part of the motivation, I'll be just brutally honest with you, was part of the motivation was that's actually what allows you to get into a good college when you graduate. Is you want to check the box of community service.
So it was about you.
So there was about self. So there's and I'm admitting that in a way that very few other people do. But I got to be honest about it. That was a big part of why I did it.
Yeah, it was about self, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to give it back to the guys. I'm going to be honest about it with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but she cuts him off, and no one tells her anything.
Yep.
Leadership is not about self.
I agree with you on that.
What I just heard is that everything is about you. And to be honest with you, this is just a PR campaign, sir, to be honest with you. And I think you're trying to go further to the right because you want the Republicans to accept you as a man of color. And I think the only way you think you can do that is to be so extreme.
I appreciate your opinion.
With your positions. And I think you need to do a little bit more work in service.
This lady is critical, man. She needs to look in the mirror herself.
Give it back to
let me ask, because she did ask me a question.
She said he failed the test before you even gave it to him. How about that?
And then you guys said you wanted,
because this is your test, your observation. You knew you wrote this purposely so that he could fail whatever this test even means, right? But listen, lady, in your mind, he failed already before you gave this to him. So miss me with that.
I didn't hear a response, but I think I heard an expression of opinion. So just, I just want to make sure you're all done before I respond to it.
No, just wanting to say that even then, I would still want you to point out, even at the hospital, something that you did that made you stand out on when actually taking a leadership role. But you already answered it. You said you did it because it was a motivation to get in college.
Exactly.
Which means it was
I'm being
about
very
you.
honest about that. But
everything's about, so everything.
It's a motivation to get in college so he can further his career so that he can really help people, lady.
Has been about you. So as a veteran,
let me tell you something. I appreciate
it's very hard for me to follow leaders that make everything about them. So you might want to work on that because it's a lot of veterans and Republicans. So you might want to work on that talking point and maybe do some volunteering while you're on the campaign trail. I'm going to give it back to Charlamagne and Envy.
Yeah. I want to be respectful. Want to make sure you got everything you wanted to on the table before I respond to that.
If this was just us,
Oh, she got plenty. She just never stops. Shut up, lady.
You guys tell me. I'm the guest on your show. You tell me when I'm good to speak.
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
You sure? Mm-hmm. You sure about that? If we're good.
Yeah, we're sure.
So I think there's a different worldview that we have. And I think the worldview is how one actually makes contributions in a country. I do not believe that there's a separate category of just if you're serving the country and then if you're acting in self-interest, that's somehow sinful or wrong. I reject that vision. To the contrary, I think capitalism is the best system known to man.
And that is a fact. Capitalism is the way that we will make money and further this country, all right? But guess what? They teach you to hate on that and keep you broke, all right? Remember that. No joke.
To lift people up from poverty. I deeply respect and I thank you for your service to this country. I'm grateful for it. I haven't served the country in the way that you have. But I think that the way you get ahead in capitalism, how did I develop a multi-billion-dollar biotech company? It was by developing medicines that save people's lives.
A lot of people say capitalism causes poverty.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Okay.
I disagree with that. I think that capitalism demands that you provide something to someone that helps them more than you're actually charging them for it. That's the only way.
That's a business model, sir. That's not
a business model.
Yo, this lady got to go. Listen, this world is about money. You understand me? Everything is about money. All right? So, yo, she's lost.
It's not, I'm not saying
that's not service.
I'm saying it's having an impact on society.
An elected official is service. That's the disconnect.
That's right. So now I'm moving on to there are phases of our lives where we do different things.
How much you want to make a bet when she was asked to do this, she really thought she was going to end his career. And truthfully, I guarantee you more people are siding with Vivek because I am.
Well, you're moving straight all the way up to President of the United States.
You know, I don't view it as a hierarchy. I don't view it as a hierarchy. I don't believe in hierarchies. The hierarchy is the way the bureaucracy works. I don't believe in so we have a difference in opinion.
You also don't believe in service, and that's where we're having a disconnect.
Well, I disagree with you on that. I just disagree with you on that.
I think it's whack that you're proposing to revoke voting rights for 18 to 24-year-olds unless they meet certain qualifications, but you never exercise your rights.
Yeah, he sounds crazy. Basically, what he wants to do is make the people in our country aware and awake. When I say awake, I don't mean woke. I mean like in the present time, living in the moment, knowing what's going on. So to make 18 to 24-year-olds take these tests so they can know stuff about their country, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. What they want is to let people be and figure it out on their own.
Well, most young people don't, is the whole point. Well, so, Charlamagne, let me ask you a question. Do you think the
largest voter turnouts have been over the last couple of elections, few elections?
They still voted at a very low rate. But let me ask you a question. What do you think about high school students being required to pass the civics test? What's your perspective on that?
The one that you proposed?
The one that every immigrant has to pass in order to enter the country. If every high school student has to pass that before they graduate, what's your take on that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Okay, good. Now let me tell you something about the law as it exists today. Men in this country, not women, but men are required by law to register with the Selective Service, age 18 to 25. That's the draft. We don't have a draft, but men have to register. If you don't, they put you in prison. At least they can. It's a criminal offense if you don't. My view is I would decriminalize that. I don't like the government telling you what you can and cannot do. That's not the American way.
Facts.
But if you want to enjoy the civic privilege of voting, then I think it is perfectly legitimate
for you to know how it works.
To say you have to at least know something about the country or have served that country, one or the other. Absolutely.